To start off our literacy lesson today, we're going to be looking at a vocabulary focus. And we're going to play a version of synonym circus. Now, we played this before where we have one word on the screen and then there are balloons which are covered up with words that mean the same thing, because a synonym is a word that means the same thing as something else. So if you've got the word happy there, some synonyms for happy would be pleased, glad, cheerful, and jolly. Why do you think we use synonyms in our work? Well, if you were writing a set of instructions and you used the word good several times in the work, it's just a bit boring, isn't it? So we want to up-level our vocabulary to try and use a range of different words. So I'm going to show you the word good. And then there are 4 balloons there, a yellow, a green, a red, and a blue, with words that mean the same as good. If I was in school, I'd probably give you around maybe 1.5 minutes to see if you can come up with as many words as you can that mean the same as good, so synonyms for good, and then we pop the balloons and see how many of those words you came up with. Now, obviously, you can pause the video for as long as you like. You could do it for 1 minute, you could give yourself 2 minutes if you really wanted to give yourself an advantage, and see how many words you could come up with that mean the same as good. So pause the video, and when you're ready to go through the answers I've got, you can unpause and we'll go through those together. Okay, how many words did you come up with? Maybe you've come up with the words that are under the balloons, or maybe you've come up with some better ones than the ones that are under the balloons. So let's pop the ones here. We're going to first of all pop the yellow balloon. Great. Did you have the word great on your board that means the same as good? What about, let's go with the blue one. Ready? Fantastic. Also means the same as good. Probably a little bit better than good. Fantastic means it's really good. Let's pop the green one. Excellent. Another word that means the same as good there. And one more, the red balloon. Ready? Fabulous. Did you come up with any of those words? Maybe you came up with all 4. If you came up with some other words that mean the same as good, maybe you could hang on to them and use them in some of your work today. Rather than using the word good lots, you could use some different words that mean the same as good to vary your vocabulary and make it more interesting for the reader. For our main task today, we are going to be seeing if we can use a range of time connectives. So to be successful today, we're going to see if we can, first of all, name some time connectives. We're going to see if we can identify time connectives in a text. So when we're reading a text, we'll see if we can find some of those. And we're going to see if we can use time connectives to help us order instructions. Time connectives are really good at helping us to order. But what is a time connective? Well, a time connective is a word that tells us when something is happening. So, for example, you could say that the first thing you do is this. First would be your time connective. Secondly, that would be a time connective. After that, that would be a time connective because it tells us about the order that the instructions or order that the things are happening in. Why do we use them? Because we want to order our instructions and make it clear so they're easier to follow. And can we think of any examples? I gave you a few already. I said first, I said secondly, I said after that. Have you got any others that you can come up with? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, now that you've unpaused the video, have you come up with all of these ones that I've got? I've got first or firstly, secondly, next, after that, then. Meanwhile means at the same time. Following that, eventually, afterwards. All of those would be really good ways of ordering your instructions to make sure that you knew what order the things were happening in. So all of those time connectives could be used in your instructions. Now I'm going to give you a quick task. I'm going to show you some instructions, but I cut them up and put them in the wrong order. We need to work out what order these instructions should go in. So I'm going to show you the instructions. We're going to read through them, and I want you to pause the video and work out which order you think they go in. Which one comes first, then second, then third, then fourth. Ready? So we've got 4 instructions here. Scoop into a bowl and serve with tortillas, sour cream, and guacamole. Does that sound like the first thing you might do? I think we might have to do something else before that, so maybe that one won't come first. The next one says cook gently for around 10 to 12 minutes. The third one says place the ingredients in the pan. And the last one says collect the ingredients from the cupboard. So what order do you think those instructions are supposed to go in? Pause your video and have a think what order you think they should go in, and then we'll correct it together. Okay, are we ready to sort the order out? So of these instructions, the first thing you probably should do before you do any preparation of your ingredients would be to collect them from the cupboard. So I'm going to move that up to the top and move that one down to the bottom. So we collect the ingredients from the cupboard. That's the first thing you do. Once you've collected the ingredients, are we going to cook it gently? Are we going to place them in a pan, or are we going to scoop into a bowl and serve them up? I think if it was me, and I was making something and I collected my ingredients, I think my next thing I'd do is I'd want to place those ingredients in the pan, because without placing them in the pan, I can't do anything with them, can I? So I place those ingredients in the pan. That's my second instruction. After that, am I going to cook them gently, or am I going to scoop and serve them in a bowl with tortillas? I think if I've placed them in the pan, I probably should wait a little bit for them to cook. So I think my next instruction is going to be the brown one, cooking gently. And then finally, once it's done that, we can scoop them into a bowl and serve them with tortillas, sour cream, and guacamole. Now, that's all well and good, but if I had those instructions, I might get a bit lost and a bit confused. So I can add some things in to try and make sure that I don't get lost and confused. What time connective could I add to the start of each of those instructions to help me work out what one I'm doing next? Well, on the top instruction, this is the first instruction. So I think I could use the word first. First, comma, collect the ingredients from the cupboard. That's the first thing I'm going to do. So I put first, collect the ingredients from the cupboard. Did you notice when I read it, I paused after the word first, which is why I've put that comma there. My next instruction is this. Oh, do you know what? I just said the word next, didn't I? That could be a good time connective to use for my next instruction. Next, place the ingredients in the pan. Notice how I took away that capital P and changed it for a regular one because it's not the beginning of the sentence anymore. First, collect the ingredients from the cupboard. Next, place the ingredients in the pan. Well, I think I've used next and first. I think maybe I could go with afterwards. Afterwards, cook gently for around 10 to 12 minutes. And then this is my last instruction, isn't it? And when I have my last instruction, I could use the word finally, because it is the final instruction. Finally means last. So finally, scoop into a bowl and serve with tortillas, sour cream, and guacamole. So now I've got my instructions in the right order, and I've used time connectives to order those instructions and make it easier for me to follow. The other thing that could make it easier on top of that is by adding your numbers for your numbered steps. So 1, first collect the ingredients from the cupboard. 2, next place the ingredients in a pan. 3, afterwards cook gently for around 10 to 12 minutes. 4, finally scoop into a bowl and serve with tortillas, sour cream, and guacamole. So now we've got our instructions and they're much better than they were before. Just by adding that time connective in and those numbers, it makes it much clearer for the reader to follow them. So for your task today, on DB Primary, I have put some instructions for you, but I haven't put them in the correct order. So the first thing you need to do is read through and sort them into the correct order. When you've sorted them into the correct order, job 2 is to think what time connectives you would add to the front of these instructions. So like I added first, next, afterwards, what time connectives would you add? Remember, if you can't remember your time connectives, it was previous on the video. There's quite a list of them there. So you could pause this here, and that way you could have some of your time connectives on the screen to help you to do that task. When you have added your time connectives, there is an extension if you're up for that challenge, and it's how would you up-level the instructions to make them more exciting? So you can have a think about what you like about the instructions, but if you were doing them and making them better, how would you make them better? Remember, when you've finished your work, to upload it on the things to do on DB Primary so that I can have a look at how well you've done in today's activity.